Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
For the final time on SimSpeed TV, it's Ozicar Formula Skip Barber from greatest racing track anywhere in Australia or the world, Mount Panorama Circuit for Ozicar Formula Skip Barber. David Haynes here with Jay Kennedy from SimSpeed TV. I've just now wrapping up over 100 Aussie car broadcasts, and Jay, I know you've been a part of just as many as well.
Yeah, I've been here since day one when we started with the Australian Touring Car, Turbo Touring Car Series, back when we ran that on a Wednesday night, and that was a load of fun. And eventually we've evolved and transitioned to all different sorts of series, and by far the most popular throughout the time of Aussie Car has been the Skip Barber, and what a perfect way to see off the SimSpeed era of this league with a race at Bathurst in that car.
It's perfectly poised for an amazing race today. 50 minutes is the Enduro for these Skip Barbers at Mount Panorama. You're zipping up the hill, down the hill on a challenging racetrack. Here it is. Lots of fun landmarks on that map, like Mildura. I think I'll go rent a houseboat on the Murray. Won't find one of them here in Mount Panorama Bathurst. We're just south of the town is the racetrack, the motoring museum, the Ridges Hotel, and all of the famous corners. The top of the mountain, Brock's Skyline, Forest's Elbow, the Chase, the slipstreaming, down Conrod Straight, up Mountain Straight, Griffin's Bend, the Cutting, all of those familiar sights and sounds. We love it, and we're ready to get going with it here at Mount Panorama, and this is also going to be the championship decider, Jay.
Yeah, championship decider indeed, and it's going to be a very, very interesting finish to the championship. Not necessarily at the top of the championship, because Adam Miles looks like he might have that wrapped up, but Adrian Duke and Cam Dance still very, very close. And then around the bottom of that top five, or just outside that top five, 6th, 7th, 8th, all relatively close. And from 9th, 10th, 11th on back, that is extremely tight as well. So lots of championship battles still to play out in this mini Enduro tonight over 50 minutes, which will be anywhere from 18 to 20 odd laps around this amazing circuit tonight.
Yeah, those are the points on the board, and with just one race to make up tonight's round, I would not be looking to DNF on the mountain. Grid set, and your championship leader is on pole. Adam Miles from Jamie Stovold, Neil Gardner and Adrian Duke next. And then Cam Dance starts from 5th, just ahead of Brody Shepherd there in 6th. Lucian Cotter 7th, Brett Gerards 8th, Peter Wilkinson 9th, Elliot D 10th. David Bowman, the last driver to set a time in the qualifying session. There's going to be a handful of drivers without one, so Nathan Verney is going to grid from 12th with no qualifying time. Warren Henry, Gavin Barber, Craig Tilson, Trevor Hearn, Mark Paneris, Daniel Stevens. They'll be gridded by iRating order in the absence of a qualifying time. Jeremy Bush, John Snell, Ira Felberg, and Peter Bowling to complete our grid.
before the drivers went out for qualifying, the track was fairly wet throughout the practice session. It has dried off, but it's still fairly damp as we get into the race session. So they've got to watch out for the puddles, especially across the top of the mountain through McPhillamy Park. The exit of McPhillamy through into Skyline is a real treacherous spot when there's been any precipitation at this place. And if you watched the Bathurst 1000 yesterday, you'll know that that does not clear either throughout the day. So that puddle will be there for most of the action.
Yeah, it's a naturally replenishing spring. I think it's where Mount Franklin spring water comes from. The 50 minutes is on the clock. The revs rise for Skip Barber. The green flag about to wave at the mountain, and the championship leader is on the pole with a smooth getaway in the tram tracks of still some puddles on the front straight. To Hell Corner we go, and you're going to want to keep your 4 cold tyres on the dry parts of the racetrack where and when you can.
This could potentially change when drivers decide to make this pit stop. Everyone will have to make a pit stop in the race. They need to change the 2 front tyres, but knowing that the track is a little bit damp, when do you do it? Do you come in early and then know that you've got a lot longer in the race to warm the tyres up, or do you come in late in the race and hope the track has dried off and warmed up?
Mountain Straight and through Griffin's Bend for the first time. Adam Miles still leads, but that slipstream starts to become really powerful in these cars once we're up to speed. He'll be looking to shake everyone over the top of the mountain. But Jamie Stovall in second will be looking to remain glued to the gearbox and the slipstream for when it comes to come down Conrod Straight and send down the mountain at the highest speed that these cars are going to see. Still just a couple of little puddles here, but it's McPhillamy where the biggest puddle resides, and we're about to get there. Absolutely nose to tail with our top 3. Adam Miles from Jamie Stovall, from Adrian Duke, who's already made up 1 spot so far on this lap. So you don't want to get too much of that apex, and you don't want to get too much of that exit. Adam Miles gets it, toboggans himself on the curb. Jamie Stovall goes around him at Brock's Skyline and into the lead of the race.
Jamie Stovall noticed that puddle a lot yesterday in the Bathurst 1000, so he knows where that line is, and Miles got a little bit held up with that mistake through that puddle, but everyone has made it through, which is a real positive. We're about to come down Conrod for the first time, and everyone is still running.
Bernie's made a spot or 2 so far in this opening lap, but this is where things will change and accelerate. Past 200 kilometers an hour, Adam Miles is pulling out of the slipstream to go alongside Jamie Stovall for that race lead. And then Adrian Duke with the double slipstream is going to follow him as well. Top 3 about to enter some vicious puddles on the way into the chase. Jamie Stovall gets them, and you're looking for where can I brake that's dry. It has everyone on a very narrow line on the way into the chase. Miles runs wide again, and now Adrian Duke is going to have a chance to lead this race. Sweeping around the outside goes Jamie Stovall into second. Neil Gardner, Cameron Dance right with them, but that's heading for pit lane for a super early stop for Stovall.
Yeah, and we heard before the race, depending on how wet or dry the track is, you can probably save enough fuel so you don't need to take fuel at the stop. Which means that you can start your pit stop phase on lap 1, which we're seeing Stovall do. We've got an incident back in the field. Something's happened with Craig Tilson off the track.
2 or 3 drivers went through the chase. I saw the flags go up. Seeing Mark Paneras go to pit lane, also to pit.
Someone have a moment at the exit of Hell Corner as well, back in the field, and decided to almost take the shortcut to the back of pit lane, but top 6 have broken away. The rest of the field's still going, and obviously, as we saw, Stovall has already made his pit stop. Who got a damage? No, that's just the paint job fooling me there, the horn. Stovall's away, but Paneras has picked up a black flag on his way to the pits.
Now this car Skip Barber actually got a little bit of a rework a couple of years ago, and I wonder if some paint schemes from the old car don't quite work on the new geometry. So David Bowman leads a group in 10th with Wilkinson and Warren Henry, and the lead outright continues to be contentious here. So this is looking like 6 or 7 cars. To just be a little more wary of that puddle on the outside has Adam Miles, and so he'll lead us over Skyline this time around. Up into second place. Neil Gardner in third, has been pretty quick in these skip barbers so far this season. Very strong at Sonoma from memory as well. Brody Shepherd in his slipstream. Luke Sincotta there in sixth. Brett Gerards and Nathan Verney are going to try to stay close if they can. This is... Well, someone already had a slowdown from the chase, and I wonder if that...
It's Trevor Hearn that had the
just a lock
slowdown.
up
He was
on a
just
puddle.
behind him. So at the same point, Trevor Hearn did have a moment through the chase, and as you said, he was one that had a slowdown. Everyone's made it through still, which is great.
Make a note of this right now. Jamie Stovall, 28.7 seconds behind the race lead as Miles and Duke and Gardner battle. Oh, Adam Miles has made a big meal of the turn into the chase for 2 laps in a row. And for 2 laps in a row, 2 cars will go by him around the outside on the exit. Cameron Dance elects to stay behind. That's Duke from 4th on the grid to leading this race. Neil Gardner up into 2nd. And this is how. Just loses the rear. Turning him from that tight line. That puts him wide. And there's a nice puddle sitting right there as well.
So after 2 laps of this race, we've already had 4 different people lead it at a certain point. The top 3 at the moment have all led, as well as Jamie Stovall. So lots of different leaders throughout this race so far.
iRacing have said the graphical rework of Bathurst is coming. Maybe it'll be a rework of some of the drainage as well. On board here with Paneras. Hearn, I mean.
Oh, he's not going to make
Looking
it
for
3
2
wide.
lane changes. This is how Toyota Hiluxes get onto the freeway.
Oh, look at that puddle. And he's still going to pull it up for the corner. That is a good bit of driving from Trevor
Just a
Hearn.
little bit
Ambitious.
of wheel rub there, 3 wide.
They're off though.
It gets 2 for 1 just there. Ahead at the cutting, Daniel Stevens. 8 positions gained. One of those drivers with no qualifying time is now inside of the top 10 from 18th on the grid. Ahead of Wilkinson, Bowman, and his teammate Gavin Barber back there, I think. Oh, the race leader cursed to always find the dampest parts of the racetrack side by side over the hill. Neil Gardner takes it, going side by side through the S's and then into the dipper. Now Neil Gardner leads from Duke, Miles in 3rd. Cameron Dance, Brody Shepherd and Luke Sincotta sitting 4th, 5th, 6th for the time being. They are pulling away from Nathan Verney and Brett Gerards on this lap so far. It seems got a top 6 and Jeremy Bush off the road facing backwards. I bet he's found that puddle. He's got a bit of damage.
Neris has just had a moment outside of Hell Corner as well. John Snell's picked up a mechanical black flag, so I wouldn't be surprised if he has made contact across the top with the spinning Jeremy Bush. And I have a
Hearn went
feeling-
wide out of the elbow and got the wall.
Yeah, so you see here, that's Hearn ahead. He has a moment. And Snell just hits both of them, unfortunately. That is very unlucky for John Snell. Adrian Duke off now. Oh no, he's into the pits. That will explain why he's dropping down the order.
Well, they were taking that odd line, breaking into the chase once again. So Neil Gardner leads from Adam Miles. Cameron Dance now up into 3rd. We go on board with him, staying wide of the apex and then tight of the exit. So there's a fair bit of real estate that's off limits. It's like asbestos sand or something. Shepherd, Sincotta 4th and 5th. Jamie Stovall, is he getting just a little bit closer to the lead? I think his early stop could be working if he doesn't catch any traffic. Adam Miles slipstreaming up Mountain Straight, goes back to the lead of the race ahead of Neil Gardner. Cam Dance still sits in 3rd as Jamie Stovall sets a new fastest lap of the race. It might be working. We think of Mount Panorama as an incredibly high slipstreaming racetrack in these cars, but the leaders are slowing each other up and tangling, and he's had a couple of good laps, some good space, now starting to catch a tiny bit more traffic.
And the other side of that too is he's come out about a second and a half ahead of Adrian Duke after his pit stop as well. As Snell has come in to use his fast repair, as has Jeremy Bush, as has Adrian Duke as well. So he actually pitted early because he had a tiny bit of damage. Explain why he broke out of this group and went solo.
Bernard Fanning.
Do you want to wish everyone else well, though?
Or Beyonce.
Beyonce.
Yeah. I don't know whether this pack racing is, more like Powderfinger or Pussycat Dolls or whatever may be. Top 5, down, mountain, straight. Peak speeds, highest that I've seen, I'm thinking was about 217 k's an hour from Cameron Dance in the double slipstream. Well, you just go over that crest there and then you pop downhill again. He's got the buffet of slipstream to choose from. Neil Gardner and Adam Miles going side by side, and Neil Gardner going through to the race lead. They're still all braking left-hand side of the road, turning in tight. Gardner goes wide and finds the spray in the puddle, but not too bad other than that. Gavin Barber, Bowman, Elliot D, Daniel Stevens. Around the outside for Barber is super tight. Bit of damage there.
Yeah, he actually had a moment across the top of the mountain, which I've just bring up a replay to show, because he lost a lot of positions across the top. And actually had that damage to
Adam
his
Miles
car.
takes back.
He had that damage already. You watch here through the car. Actually ends up side by side with Wilkinson and almost off in the fence there.
Adam Miles takes back the fastest lap of the race and takes back the race lead as Jamie Stovall begins to encounter a tiny bit more traffic and clears Craig Tilson, who hasn't stopped. Now sits behind Trevor Hearn, who hasn't stopped. Uphill, one of the steepest parts of the racetrack is towards the cutting here. Just 4 drivers in this lead group, with Stovall and Duke having made their stops.
Now, Haynes, what is the number one rule of racing?
Well, I would say, if I was Peter Bowling, try to not hit my teammate.
Righto, don't hit your teammate is the number one rule. We're on board with Gavin Barber. Right behind is Daniel Stevens.
Oh,
This wasn't the combination you were expecting, was it? Moment.
no.
Tiny little bit. Stovall and Hearn side by side across the top of the mountain. Stovall has lost a little bit of time since he caught up to this traffic as well. Cost him maybe 2 seconds on those leaders that he was closing in on.
Got a fair chunk of clean track further ahead of him from here, but it was, Hearn and Tilson and some of those others that just took him a little bit too much. Neil Gardner out of the slipstream for the race lead. It's very much leapfrog down Conrod Straight. The length of the straight, the speeds and the slipstream so intense that you just can't, unless you're broken the slipstream 1.5 seconds ahead, fend off another driver. But just getting that good run, lining you up and passing you on the way into the chase.
In the background, Luke Sincotta's
And loses the rear. Oh, and gets wide. Costs a little bit of time to the leaders. Sincotta coming in.
David Bowman still can't get past the damaged Gavin Barber. It's about another look into Murray's, but won't get it done. Craig Tilson also trying to get back past Trevor Hearn, but can't do it either. Looking to recover after that mistake on the end of lap 1. I swear this isn't a
Swap up
replay. but-
Mountain straight. Adam Miles is on the outside though, and gets around Neil Gardner. So they're leapfrogging pretty well. You can see that this leading group of 4 has taken back the fastest lap of the race. Here's where Sincotta resumes just behind Tilson and Hearn, just ahead of Adrian Duke. So has that pit stop time from
Duke's-
Adrian Duke been rather costly? He's now a long way behind Stovall.
Yeah, well, he was 1 second longer than Stovald and Cincotta in regards to pit stop time, but he doesn't seem to be able to get those front tyres to fire up as quick as Stovald did. I think that pit on lap 1 strategy is not a bad ploy, purely because the tyres weren't up to temp anyway, so he's able to make sure that all 4 tyres get up to temperature at the same time. Hitting afterwards might be a little bit more difficult because you've already got warm rears. Cold fronts on this track with the water around is not going to be the best of fun anyway, so interesting to see what happens from here. I think almost everyone else is going to pit as close to the end as they can, unless they get damage.
So leading for head down Conrod Straight. Neil Gardner's staying out of the slipstream for the moment. That is odd. That's a deliberate decision to not pick up the toe on the race leader. And then later down the straight, he tucks into it.
Interesting Brody Shepherd's thinking here. He's quite content to sit back a little bit further and allow these guys to battle and fight amongst themselves. Dance is happy to sit back, but sit back a little bit closer. I do know that Dance was going to be very, very heavy on the fuel save to try and make sure that he didn't have to splash any in at the pit stop. Whether anyone else is thinking the same or whether they're going to put in a couple of litres of fuel at the pit stop, that could be the difference between a 10-second pit stop and a 12-second pit stop. It doesn't take long for you to lose a couple of seconds in the pit stop with fuel in this car.
It's a little bit closer heading up Mountain Straight this time. There's a couple of other groups of drivers. So Wilkinson with Bowman and Barber still. And this is Neil Gardner, having not wanted to take the lead down Conrod Straight, wants to take the lead up Mountain Straight. Cameron Dance is going to sit there in third.
Nathan Verney's had a
What
big
we're
moment
about to
through
see
the final
here.
corner. Saves it though. Not the fastest way, but it did look cool.
Gardner going to lead over the top of the hill. Trevor Hearn, Craig Tilson and Luke Cincotta going to form some kind of Roman military formation up Mountain Straight. Cincotta, after his pit stop, not able to get through on the slightly damaged cars ahead. Hearn had a big whack of the wall a couple of laps ago. Tilson's like thinking for the outside, but there's no grip there.
Saying that, I think that the wet track means that probably not as costly as it would be in a normal situation. Stuck back into line pretty well. Cincotta was not able to get through, so he's losing even more time. He's now 5 seconds behind his teammate in Adrian Duke, so Cincotta's pit stop has been a little bit costly. I'm wondering if he didn't actually want to pit, but he didn't have much choice. Oh, hello. That changes things. There's a bit of water falling from the sky.
Oh, there's more coming. There's more coming after it. That's come from nowhere.
All right. I'll look this up on the screen, but yeah, there's a fair bit of rain coming.
Yes, and not at the halfway point of this race yet. The rain has returned, and I'll be honest, I don't see it letting up in the next half an hour.
Yeah, so I think these guys
So
at the front
the
will
wet and
probably...
slippery parts of the
Sorry, you keep going.
I think the wet and slippery parts of the racetrack will not get any better, and that sees Cam Dance trying to fake them out to the pit entry.
I can't see anyone wanting to pit now. You're going to keep your warm tyres on, but would this really benefit the likes of Stovald and Duke and Cincotta, who have already made their pit stop? I think it will. You don't really want to be trying to warm up your cold front tyres in the wet. Doesn't usually work. Oh, no.
Oh! Tilson and Hearn come together, trying to find where the grippy braking line is for the chase. And the wheel-to-wheel contact in these open wheelers sends Tilson halfway into the air. It gives Trevor Hearn much bigger damage. A bunch of drivers have sort of seen this rain as maybe the time to make their pit stop, which is interesting to me. This is how it happens. Tilson in the slipstream on Trevor Hearn.
I'm really surprised by the choice to pit now. Ugh. Just one of those awkward situations. They almost both lost it in the puddles as much as anything else. So unfortunate for Tilson. Hasn't been a race that has gone to plan, but positive is he's right at the pit entry. He's still got a fast repair available. He's going to use it. Keep going. On the pitting now, though, situation, you probably are better in a way to pit now than to pit with 3 laps to go on the track being absolutely saturated. You've got a little bit of chance to get a bit of warmth into the tyres while there is some dry parts of the track, but it is getting heavy and heavy relatively quickly.
Sort of the best time to do it was yesterday.
Yes.
The second best time is today, and tomorrow probably no better still. So yeah, not a great thing to do, but it doesn't get any better by not ripping the band-aid off now.
Unfortunately, Peter Bowlings had a moment in our favourite puddle at the top of the mountain and bangs it into the wall. And car is damaged. He has already used his fast repair, so I don't know if we'll see him back out again.
Going on for the race lead here now. These drivers haven't stopped yet, and they didn't follow the lead of some of the other drivers to go, hang on, bit of rain coming. Let's get that pit stop out of the way. But will they this time? Cam Dance maybe thought about it or wanted everyone else to think that he was thinking about it. And Neil Gardner wants them to think that he's thinking about it, but none of them do.
And to make Craig
Now, rain
Tilson's
is
nice
coming from the
southwest.
Forest Elbow.
Yes.
Yeah, Forest Elbow end of the racetrack, and then heading towards the pit straight here. So it's only just started raining on the pit straight here, but over the top of the hill, it's been raining for a lap and a half.
One thing as well
Yep.
I was thinking about is the fake out. Do you really think it was going to work with the guys around him? I mean, they're all going to try it, but I don't think anyone is going to fall for it. They're all just going to run their own race. David Bowman's decided to come in now, and that's a interesting call. Gavin Barber has just been passed by Jamie Stovold. Front of the field, they've extended their gap out to 30 seconds to him. Remember when you first said after the pit stops, remember this number 29 seconds? It got down to 26, but it's back out to 30 again. So maybe those front 4 working together and not fighting is potentially going to pay off. The other thing as well is that the lap times are still going faster, even with the water being laid on the track.
Well, we actually started this race with a track temp of like 36 or something, and then the rain comes along and it doesn't cool until it's reduced the track temperature down towards the air temperature, which it has now. Staying out of the way there, Craig Tilson. So you see how quickly the track temp drops when the rain starts to fall on it, but when the air is 18 and the track temp is 40, the sprinkle of rain doesn't do anything until it's taken all of the heat out of the road, which it has now.
And looking at the radar as well, there is a big heavy band of rain on its way, so you'd be surprised to see these drivers battle along with the wet weather a little bit more over the next couple of laps. The other thing to note as well is these tyres are roof tyres, so they are wet and dry compound tyres. They're the one tyre for the whole race regardless, so drivers need to be aware that what they've got is what they've got, and they're not going to find any extra grip from changing from these to another set of tyres.
You can roll down a Bob Jayden Team Arts or something and get the same BF Goodrich tyre that's on these. Put it on your Corolla or your Dodge Neon or whatever it may be. That's another little hit from the puddle.
Okay.
Right hand side of that car banged up.
I have a feeling he'll jump into the pits and use his fast repair because he's struggling to keep his car in a straight line. Trevor Hearns just now has Luke Cincotta right on his tail as well. So Cincotta has stuck with Hearn since that round of pit stop. So I've just seen David Bowman, who just came out of the pits. He pitted on that previous lap. He's just picked up a mechanical black flag. We'll try and work out what that's for, but he might have had a moment at approach to Forest Elbow, actually. Have Barber coming in and approach this.
After the dipper towards the elbow, like on the downshift, that almost feels like getting first when you're looking for third, but it could just be the white line in the puddle. Big damage.
He's fairly close to the wall on the inside, so he just do that as well. He's misjudged it a little bit, bounced off the wall. Just had another look at the radar as well. There is a little patch where the rain will stop potentially. That might be the point where these guys need to pit. If they don't come in, if they leave it way too long, that yellow portion of rain that hits the track and they haven't got warm tyres on the car, it's going to be a very interesting finish with these guys that are some of the best in Australia and New Zealand with these vehicles. So this is going to be a fun watch for the next 20 minutes.
Even the green is going to be challenging, or as Jake Sperry calls it, Category 2. Cameron Dance is looking for second, drops back into third. Brodie Shepherd has been Mr. Fourth place for a little while now as Dance moves to the whole other side of the road, right in behind Neil Gardner. They could be thinking about it just about now, you know, to take their pit stops into the chase and still using the middle of the road as the drier part of the racetrack. Very right-hand edge, it's a bit of water puddled. And entry to the left. Nope, not this time. Just past the halfway point. It's showing laps, not time, on our timing column here, but it looks like
If the rain keeps up, it will go to...
we're just going to the 20 laps either way.
I think we might only end up 19 depending on how heavy the rain gets. But at the moment, we're still looking at 20. We'll see how it goes. Wilco's still got some good pace in his car despite that damage. He's down about 5 k's an hour, which I thought it would have been a bit more than that. Pushing along okay with the damage. It'll be tough for him though, but he does still have his fast repair available, so he'll be able to come into the pits and repair his car and go again.
Nine Lives Racing have got their scratch and dent auction going on right now, and I think Wilco's rear wing might get about $5. It's rain falling at the cutting, rain falling all over the top of the mountain again as the heavier rain approaches. First place it is going to hit is sort of Skyline down the hill, Forest Elbow in the exit there. It's just about where it's getting to. Are you going to hawk Black Friday?
I've been asked to. I've been asked to hawk Black Friday, so make sure you sign up if you haven't signed up, or if you're already a member, 25% off your renewals. And it runs through until the start of December, so make sure you do it in the next few days. It's time to join iRacing or re-sign for iRacing, because best deal you're going to find until the same one next year.
Remember they used to do credits, buy one, get one free? Just, you know...
Yeah, or buy $75.
$50 in your account, get 100.
Yeah, buy 75, you get an extra 25 or something. Oh, slow car there. That's a bit of bowling. Yes, he's got his car back out. He's just struggling for pace. Actually, he's got another mechanical black flag, so he's actually hit the wall again. That could have been a lot worse for those drivers in the lead group. Adam Miles has actually started to check out.
Look at this, they've got spray.
Yeah.
This is where the heavy rain is, and they've got spray all the way down Conrod Straight now. So now the track's starting to look wetter, and as they exited the elbow, Gardner and Dance, I don't think got a particularly good run. They ended up that distance behind Adam Miles, but they've closed it all in again. This is where the lap times are beginning to drop off. 2:39 last lap compared to a fastest lap of the race for Neil Gardner at 2:34.4. Cameron Dance is like, well, I'm getting out of here, but Dance and Gardner and Shepherd stay on the racetrack. Adam Miles crosses the line with a 2:40, so time is dropping away. They're slowing up.
6 seconds slower than their fastest lap.
Trevor Hearn finding that is the slipperiest part of the track now, down at the elbow.
Wondering if Dance has realised that the track is going to become more difficult, so earlier he gets in, the more chance he actually has to put some temperature into the tyres before it does get too extreme. Trevor Hearn's just done what we've all done in the dry, but it seems to be a lot easier to do in the wet.
Yeah, it's slick there now, isn't it? The line that they had been using, it's not puddles to the side of the racetrack, it's the whole racetrack is slick from the cutting around to the elbow at the top of the mountain. Eventually, down Conrod, the chase, etc., will be that slippery, but it's cutting to elbow is just a flat mirror at the moment.
So Dance back out 10 seconds ahead, but that may at the moment seem like it's a long way away, but with how quickly the track is cooling and becoming wetter as Neil Gardner has a massive slide through Silman Park. 10 seconds is not a big margin when you're on extremely cold tyres and the driver behind you has warm tyres. So don't be surprised if that gap comes down. And in saying that, it's already down to 9.5. So Stovall is closing in on Dance relatively quickly.
There's some of those other gaps, and Cotter to Stevens. Wilco just behind them, who hasn't stopped yet.
I'm very surprised Wilco's still pushing on because of that damage. And Miles has had a mistake.
Gardner's...
he's away.
No.
Oh,
Gardner's had another issue. So
Sorry.
now Adam Miles leads by 2.7 seconds. Brody Shepherd's all over the back of him. You saw that Gardner was sort of sliding over the top of the hill, and I wonder if he's had another issue at the elbow as that's becoming yet trickier as well. Yeah. Whoa.
The approach.
It's a ski run, man.
Yep. It's getting heavier and heavier as that yellow band of rain is coming in closer, and I think these guys have realised, hey, we've got to work together. Do what Cam's done. Come back out and get these tyres warmed up. So Adam Miles is going to be the lone soldier at the front. Wilkinson and Hearn, the only other two that have not pitted yet, as well as Nathan Verney, but I feel like Verney will come in relatively soon as well. In saying that, he keeps going. Oh, no.
Whoa. They're all off.
Dan Stevens and Peter Wilkinson at that corner.
Trevor Hearn appears to be having some problems as well elsewhere. So every single time they come around, it's now an ice skating rink from Skyline down here. See, that's crazy how slippery that is. And then they're turning, braking, so slippery underneath the trees. White line at the apex of the elbow. Big damage there as it went in backwards.
That was Wilco right behind him, who had spun as well. Dan Stevens still has his rust repair, but as we said, he'd already made his pit stop, so he will have to come in again. Cam Dance 4 seconds ahead of Gardner and Shepherd. 1.5 of those seconds was gained in pit lane transit. So interesting that Dance's lap has been good enough on this outlap. Even without the track, even without the tyre temperature in those front tyres, he's still been able to pull a gap. And Adam Miles is struggling now across the top.
On the zoomed radar, you can see that break in the rain is coming in a second, though. So maybe that'll be the time for Adam Miles to pit. He's everywhere, all over the road in search of some grip. Now that it's full and proper wet lines in effect, there's grip just before the wall exiting the cutting. There's no grip in the braking zone down towards the elbow. There's no grip at the apex of the elbow either. So he tippy-toes his way through there before he can finally open it up down the hill. And there is that tiny break in the rain starting to come. And apparently the sun's out down Conrod Street now after 10 minutes of heavy rain.
Elliot Dees just had a moment as well at Griffin's Bend. So he's losing a bit of time. Wilkinson's decided to come in and get that damage fixed and make his compulsory 2-tyre pit stop. Ira Felberg is now coming back into the pits as well. He's already made his pit stop, but looks like he might have a bit of damage as well. By the end of the race, I'd be surprised if any cars come through without any damage. Miles decides not to pit, even though the sun is out on this side of the circuit. Dance is pulling that gap
might be.
away.
Yeah, there could be a window right at the end of this where it's a good time to make your stop again.
Everyone is tippy-toeing back around the track, though, aren't they? Lap times are 12, 13, 14 seconds slower than they were in the dry. Just hold on to the track now, isn't it? You just got to hold on and hope that you can make it back home. Cam Danson's in the appropriate rig, though, in the hyper-stimulator car, in the old bathtub.
Gardner's off.
Oh, no, Gardner and Shepherd.
Off in front of the Motor Racing Museum at Murray's Corner. So having been second and third, they've been undercut by Dance, and they've both just made a meal of the braking zone and gone wide. Look at Shepherd touch the grass. Gardner can't slow his car up either.
Gardner's hit the
James
wall, too.
Stovall's still behind them.
I'm pretty sure here that Gardner's actually hit the wall. Shepherd's okay, he didn't hit the wall, but yeah, a little knock to the wall there, and interesting to see if Gardner's car's okay. It looks like it might not be tracking 100% straight.
Miles just had a massive slide before McPhillamy Park, so he's got it back under control. He's still the fastest car out there last lap. Easy. It looks pretty risky. This is a racing technique that I am going to coin as Bazcar.
Ozicar.
Yeah, it's when the conditions are against you, but you still push on as if they're not, and just try to, you know, psych yourself into showing intent.
As long as it's an exciting type of racing, it doesn't matter how you perform in the end, is that what you're saying? Cam Danson's in the wall.
So exit of the
Or was
dipper.
that Vernie in the wall?
Track should be drying up a tiny bit here.
Vernie's had a moment across the top. Right here. Real wheel damage, but he's still able to push on without any issues. And here comes Dance. Dance comes through, and then through the dipper, I believe, Cam's had a moment. Because that puddle is getting worse, isn't it?
You think that the very top of a mountain would be the easiest place to drain, but apparently not. So it's wide. It's the grass on the way in, tags the wall, loops him 90 degrees sideways. So he's wide on the way in, and then he basically tags the rear on the apex wall, sends himself sideways. Where's the best place to brake? Into the final corner. Probably not where Brodie Shepherd is, probably where Neil Gardner was.
Yep. And just behind, you can see now JB Stovall has caught these guys. So, yeah, we said before the gap was 26 to 29 seconds, 30 seconds back from Stovall to Miles. It's now 43, but pace has dropped off even further now. They are now 17 seconds a lap slower than they were on their fastest lap. So pace is well and truly gone from the track. But the skill that these guys need to show now is even more immense.
On board with Stovall, fair bit more spray going on. Where's the line into two? I think that's wide again. There's going to be marbles out there for Brodie Shepherd. He's got no grip. And while you want to stay away from the curbs once it gets wet, there's still got to be a bit more grip with the camber on the inside of Griffin's Bend there. You can't be going that wide and get away with it. Stovall up into fourth, with Adam Miles the only driver that hasn't stopped yet.
Here's the one bonus about this circuit being a street course is that the camber of the corners is relatively normal on the inside, so there hasn't been too much water pooling on the inside of corners. More been pooling in the exit of corners or off to the side where you would go on your natural racing line down straight. So the only part that it seems to be causing issues, though, is at Forest. Elbow, Shepherd is in the wall. Are we okay?
Well, it's raining on the top of the hill again, and it's going to keep raining for that final 10 minutes. So we had just a little eye of the storm, and then weather's back. Stovall's closed Gardner a lot as well, and we might see a tiny bit of wire. That's even earlier down the S's.
Stovall's already
Shepherd's
through.
ended up in trouble. Yes.
Good job from Stovall to gain that time. I think there was a mistake from Gardner through Forest Elbow, or just before. I actually can see that that time was caught up actually through the dipper, essentially. Oh, Stovall!
On the way into the chase.
Oh, no.
Oh.
This track has become very,
Much
very
damage.
difficult. It's got a
A
mechanical
bit of
black
damage
flag.
on the right front there.
Yeah.
He does now. It's that apex curb as you go right into the chase that he's caught a bunch of water. I think he's popped his right front tyre maybe as well.
Essentially correct.
Grazing the wall. That gives you a mechanical black flag. That's the ever increasing water. So the blue is the rain intensity. So it gradually builds, it stops, and now it's coming back. And that's as measured in the pit lane. Usually the rain is actually coming from the opposite end of the racetrack, elbow. So the rain intensity averaged over the track is actually a bit before that measurement.
Jamie Stovall's now had his fast repair and back out and going. He's lost a couple of positions, but he's now just with Nathan Verney. So Verney, remember, he is on cold front tyres because he pitted only a lap ago. It'll be interesting to see. Only driver left to make his compulsory pit stop is this one, Adam Miles. Now, with the rain as well, anyone that was worried about fuel, I would say, I'm not going to be 100% sure, but I would be fairly confident that they should be okay on fuel now.
And with it being the same tyre, dry and wet conditions, you'd expect actually that the fuel burn reduction in conditions like this is a bigger effect in the skip barb than it is in some other cars where you go to the wet tyres and suddenly get heaps more rolling resistance. Trevor Hearn is out corn farming, tending to that field.
Well done. And Barber's getting a run here on Elliot D out of L corner and goes through. One thing I want to do, I want to check in. How bad does it look on this guy's screens? Doesn't look too bad. Hello, Dan Stevens. How stressed are you? Thumbs up for for ultra intense, or if thumbs down if it's just nice and casual for us. We'll get a thumbs up or a thumbs down in a second. If he puts it in the wall while we're watching him, I might get the finger though.
I don't think he's got time
I don't think
over
he
the
does
top
either.
of the
I
mountain.
don't think he wants to take his hands off the wheel. And I'm not surprised by that. He's actually catching up to D and Barber ahead as well, so he's doing pretty well. Not easy out there. Have Barber in his motion rig. He'll be having a difficult time. Curbs. And my lap predictor has also said that we are down to 19 laps potentially as well. As Verney goes long night.
Lap times have dropped away. Yeah, you can see him kicking up all of that as Jamie Stovall goes by. Perhaps again, rain intensity growing at the elbow and at the chase. We could almost be at sort of 3-minute lap times before too long. So it is looking like 19 laps. Oh, you can't even go flat out on the way into the chase at the kink, and then you can't stop.
The last lap by Adam Miles was a 2:51. Still the fastest driver on track. Now that's Neil Gardner, Brody Shepherd. They did 2:57, so they're 6 seconds a lap, 5.5 seconds a lap slower. Gardner and Shepherd, who are still battling over this final podium spot. And the way it's looking in regards to lap times, it will be the final podium spot because Miles will come out around about where Cam Dance is, maybe just ahead. Adrian Duke's made his way into this battle too.
Yeah, Shepherd just made that spot by taking the really tight line. Oh, and then grass for Gardner. That costs him heading over towards the peak of the hill here at McPhillamy. And Shepherd then tries to find some grip out wide. But then you don't want to be wide on the exit because you'll be, a boat going through that lake of a puddle now.
Interesting how much of the curb they're still using across the top there, though. The steepness of that part of the track, I'm guessing that the curb itself isn't too dry. Now running such different lines now from what they were, as I've just seen Warren Henry have a bit of an issue, and Adam Miles is in, so pit stop finally happening for our race leader.
How difficult is tyre warm-up going to be for him with 2 laps to go? He came in, he was leading Cameron Dance by 35 seconds, so really should be able to get in and get out of the lane, still with a couple of seconds of lead, perhaps even 10 or more. Adrian Duke 4 in the grass there as he tried to find a way by Neil Gardner. We know that this kink into the chase is now becoming more difficult. You don't want to be turning in from the white line. Brody Shepherd has ended up 2 tyres in the grass, so is then he going to be able to slow it down? Just Gardner very tentative on a tight line. Adrian Duke good grip around the outside. Adam Miles is out of the pit lane with a calculated lead of about 6 seconds. You have cold tyres on an increasingly saturated racetrack, and the two of them are ages away of this battle for the final step on the podium. They're a minute clear of Shepherd, Gardner, and Duke. That's going to recalculate in a bit, but it's almost half a minute.
And it's 2 laps to go as well, so we will get 19 laps. For some reason the overlays have decided that it's the final lap, but can confirm there's still 2 to go. As Sim Potter and Brett Girards go side by side at the exit of the chase. Girards has had a pretty decent race. He's been pretty consistent, maintained his position from where he started. Had a bit of a long pit stop when he came in, but I think he might have done what a few drivers have done in the past, is change all 4. Changing all 4 tyres to keep the balance of the car potentially could be positive strategy, because you're not having to warm up 2 front tyres with warm rear tyres already, warming up everyone at the same time, maintaining the balance of the car. I could be completely wrong in that.
Go-kart stuff. Adrian Duke drives straight around the outside of Neil Gardner in the middle of the corner. When you have adjustable anti-roll bars and you stiffen them, you actually reduce the amount of grip available, but it improves the overall balance and improves the lap times in high grip situations. So I think there's a similar thing that can happen with the tyres. Here's Stovald around the outside of Verney. The cutting, yeah, if you go wide enough, I think there's some grip there.
Just behind these guys as well, Girards and Sim Potter are still side by side as well, so heaps of battles going on here at the mountain. They've just sorted themselves out behind, and 2 teammates also going side by side in Stevens and Barber. And also another battle going on as well between Warren Henry and Jeremy Bush. So battles still going on everywhere, and we're watching that battle of the clock as well, as I've just seen Shepherd have a moment. Hold on to it. Just had a little moment through the grass. Down through Skyline and into the dipper.
So Adrian Duke's now into the 3rd place from Gardner and Shepherd. I've been keeping an eye on how Adam Miles is going around on this lap, on his outlap, and he seems pretty happy with it. He hasn't lost much time, if any, to Cam Dance, though we may need to worry about a bit of traffic from David Bowman in a second. Coming towards the start of the final lap, and Peter Wilkinson's had an issue.
He's just got 2 wheels in the grass on the right-hand side, and it's just thrown him straight into the fence driving into Bathurst. He's hit that wall and then he's continued on and hit the next wall. Missed the tyre bundle as well. He's picked up a mechanical black flag. He'll have to do a full lap of the circuit. If he does get lapped by the leaders on the way around, at least he won't have to complete an extra lap. But the other side of that is he's got Mark Neris right in front of him, who he'd want to pass for position. They're 6th, 17th, and 18th. So we've got 6 battles on track right now. The main one being this one for the final podium spot. Nathan Verney has a moment through the chase. He got a 2nd and a half and lost it all.
Snowballed back to 6th. Verney 7th. Adam Miles on the final lap of the race. While the rain continues to fall, has held pretty steady his margin to Cam Dance.
Yeah, it was about 7 seconds. It's come down to 6, but that's all it's come down to. It hasn't come down an astronomical amount like we were potentially expecting. These guys are still fighting, and they're going to fight all the way to the checkered flag. You can feel it. There might be some contact between these guys by the end. This 3-car battle for the final podium spot. It also could have championship implications depending on how it falls out too.
Adrian Duke saying, see you later. Brody Shepherd's trying to get back by Neil Gardner, who's struggled since the rain came out, and he's had a massive lockup going into the cutting. Rear is skidded out on him, and he is facing the wall, trying to get that turned around. It's back to 5th place for Gardner. Warren Henry and Jeremy Bush are going side by side down Conrod Straight. Looks like Henry trying to get ahead. These two stopped a lap apart. Bush might have gone for that 4-tyre change. Could be working.
Yeah, I don't think it's a horrible strategy call. It might not be the best strategy call, but as I said, it maintains the balance of the car. If you haven't done too much practice with warm rears, cold fronts in wet conditions, it might not be the worst possible idea. As Adam Miles is about to come to the checkered flag to win season 38 of Ozicar. Oh, Wilco.
Yeah, indeed. Oh, Miles is losing a bit of time to Cam Dance, though, so far on this lap. He's just trying to avoid the traffic, I think, but he's lost 2 seconds to them. Fuel could be the issue here for Miles, to be honest. You think he'll be able to manage this one, not only to the race lead, but to the championship and the win in Ozicar Formula Skip Barber. Adam Miles completes his victory lap as Cameron Dance actually runs off the road at the final corner. He's still a long way, about 30 seconds clear of Adrian Duke back here in 3rd, and then Shepherd and then Gardner. And some of those other battles are still going to be able to fight it out over one more lap.
Goldberg, Bowman and Wilkinson have all crossed the line. I've noticed as well that
Miles and Dance have parked it up super early after the first corner as well. I think they're out of fuel.
I think they are too. I think Dance potentially might have had an issue with fuel offing through the final corner, which cost him a bit of time. Duke moving to 3rd. Brody Shepherd in 4th, and Neil Gardner after that spin late on will finish in 5th. But what a fun battle they put on throughout the race. They battled hard all the way through with Miles, Dance, Duke, Shepherd and Gardner, and Jamie Stovall at some points as well. But the pit on the first lap strategy hasn't worked out. I had to make a second pit stop for damage and finished just ahead of Nathan Verney.
So Gerard's with a long stop. Looking for 8th. Sincotta, that thing's crabbing massively in 9th.
Yep. He's got a lot of damage to the front wing as well, but he's going to bring it home, get off the curb. Yeah, he's okay. He's finished the race. Craig Tilson, another one that's had dramas throughout the race. He had that pit lane penalty to go on top of his mechanical black flag from when he pitted early on. There's just noticed there's been a change of position down Conrod Straight between these two here. I'm wondering if Elliot D might have a bit of damage because Trevor Hearn has just scooted past him.
I'm seeing quite a lot of drivers with some fuel worries, even despite the fact that this has gone 19 instead of 20 laps. Like, Stevens looks like he could be out there. He's crossed the checkered flag.
Dean will make it home. Bush and Warren Henry, they're still going at it as well.
Jeremy Bush has got a slowdown flag, and you've got to clear that before you cross the finish line, or it'll add sort of 20 seconds. He's just managed to clear that now, braking into the final corner, and then the checkered flag is right about there. And then the last cars we're going to see on the lead lap are Snell and Paneras. Peter Wilkinson ends up being the first car lap down.
Yeah, and that runoff that he had at the chase actually saved him from having to do an extra lap with that mechanical black flag as well. So maybe a blessing in disguise as Snell has an issue. Will Paneras be able to steal the spot? Not quite. So Snell holds on to 16th and Paneras finishes in 17th. That was a fun race in the wet.
The weather always unpredictable, even with the radar out. Adam Miles, 10,000 iRating. A lot of it from Skip Barbers and similar cars. Has taken the most wins of anyone this season, including the final round on his way to the championship in Ozicar Formula. Skip Barber. Cameron Dance from 5th on the grid finishes 2nd. Adrian Duke from 4th to 3rd. Brody Shepherd 6th to 2nd. It's Neil Gardner and Jamie Stovall who went backwards in this one to finish 5th and 6th. Had a Nathan Verney 12th to 7th. Brett Gerards in 8th. Luke Sincotta in 9th. Daniel Stevens, one of the drivers with no qualifying time, goes from 18th to finish inside the top 10. In 11th was Gavin Barber, then Trevor Hearn in 12th, Elliot D in 13th, Jeremy Bush just ahead of Warren Henry on that final lap there, 14th and 15th. John Snell just ahead of Mark Paneras. Peter Wilkinson a lap down. Ira Felberg a lap down. Same for David Bowman, who had to go through pit lane twice. Craig Tilson also with a long stop and some adventures, finishing 21st, and Peter Bowling retiring after 8 laps completed by the looks of things to finish 22nd. Take the whole mountain, put it in a tea towel, wring it out. It's a slippery, tricky place for a car that doesn't have dedicated, purpose-built wet tyres.
Yeah, this car is difficult in the wet, but it was a very, very fun, eventful race, and I think we've got a couple of guys to have a chat with. I'll let you take the interviews away, Haynes.
Adrian Duke joins us. Do you need a dry towel or anything?
Yeah. Yeah, man, that was so wet out there. It was so slippery. Like, yeah, I did some practice in the wet, but this had some surprises for me.
So strategy-wise, you went early. So did Jamie Stovall. That didn't work out great for him. It worked out pretty good for you. Adam Miles went opposite end of the strategy and takes the race win. Time again, are you doing the same thing?
No. My strategy was to pit late, but it was just getting really hectic up the front there, and I thought maybe I'd get in some clear air, but I didn't get in clear air. I got in slow air and had to follow a lot of drivers up and down a hill. Yeah, so if I had my time again, I would have just stayed with the leaders and maybe just accept sitting a bit back and letting it play out. Yeah, so actually Jamie's strategy did work. He came out like 5 seconds in front of me, but he had some accidents. So yeah, I think Adam had the best strategy, just pitting last moment. Yeah, if I could do it again, I'd do that.
Well, fantastic. You've been a continuing feature of the podium this season in Aussie car Formula. Skip Barber, a car that was so crazy popular on iRacing for a while and then sort of sat on the back burner as more single-seaters and other cars have come to iRacing.
Yeah, it's a really fun car, and Yeah, I didn't know how well I was going to do this season, but I think I've secured second. I think Cam had to beat me by 6 points this race to take second of me. Adam was long gone. Um, yeah, it's a good car, and I've really enjoyed driving it, and I felt I've performed well this season. Yeah, better than expectations. So yeah, very happy all around.
Awesome. Well done. Congrats.
Congrats! Oh, thanks guys on the final SimSpeed TV for Ozicar. It's been great.
Duke joining us there, and he name dropped his championship rival Cameron Dance, who joins us from a splendid second.
Yeah, it was pretty hectic out there, not going to lie, in those last 5 laps. I don't think I took the chase a single time and didn't end up in the grass, to be honest, or sideways for that matter. So, no, that was a really, really good race, to be honest. Like, it was a lot of fun. Like, we pretty much just did what we had to do for, like, I think it was like the first 10 laps or whatever it was, just sat behind, and as you do at Bathurst, just cruise along, keep along in the draft, and then started getting a little bit of moisture on the road, and it was like, we'll keep going, see what it does. And then the boys in front of me were starting to struggle a little bit. I was like, nah, we've got a bit of pace here. We might as well box and just get some clean air and see what we pop out. And then popped out like well ahead of Jamie and the rest of them that boxed early. So I was like, okay, we'll just keep cruising on. And then I decided I was going to hit the wall and have a talent for at the dipper when it started to get really wet. So yeah, that's a bit unfortunate because I think we might have been on top of Adam by the end with the fact we had like 5 seconds or whatever it was at the gap at the line. So yeah, it was going to be interesting if we didn't hit the wall there. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, talking us through then all of your strategy thoughts and all of that. We know that Mount Panorama is going to get a bit of rework. Do you think they're going to rework the drainage?
Well, I hope so, because some of the puddles up at the top of the mountain are just absolutely horrendous. Like through McPhillamy and over the top of Skyline, it's just like you're basically almost guessing where the puddles are because it's just a mirror image the whole way across the top, and then you know where that puddle on the outside by the curb is right there, but everything on the inside, it's like, where am I driving again? So yeah, it's pretty hectic on some of those corners to avoid the puddles. So. But yeah, hopefully drainage gets a bit better because it's pretty hectic. And even at the chase, it's pretty hard too.
You brought out the retro livery for this retro car this season. Is it as good as you remember?
Obviously the car's been updated and it's a little bit different to drive. I'm not sure if I actually fully like it yet. It's sort of in between the I like it, I don't like it, I don't know. It's sort of it's got some tendencies that make it better, but it's also got some tendencies where it's like you have to really drive the car where to be fast. So yeah, I'm not 100% sold on the current state of the car in the new rework that's had. But yeah, look, it's still a fun car at the end of the day. It provides really, really good racing and racing against some of these quicker guys, and especially some of these guys that have managed to speed up over the course of time as well has been really, really good. Like the likes of Adrian and a couple of other guys being a lot quicker than they used to be is really, really good. So it's really stepped up this league as well. So makes it really, really awesome to race in now.
Great to have you back in Ozicar and the Skip Barber for what amounts to something of a farewell, and well done on some of the performances you've put in this season.
Yeah, cheers, man. Obviously, been a pretty hectic season with some of the races not going quite to plan, but it is what it is, and it's all about being having fun at the end of the day. So that's the main goal, and we've done that. So pretty happy with that. So yeah, just massive shout out to Ira for giving me an invite to say come along and have a skid, and we did that and had a lot of fun. So yeah, cheers to him, and then obviously cheers to you and Jay for all your hard work behind the scenes as well. Every single time out with the series, it's been a pretty hard slog to get to this point with 38 seasons, but yeah, no, it's been an awesome effort to see you guys and Ira put on a series that's lasted this long.
Thanks, Cam. See ya.
So much.
And our race winner and our championship winner is with us. Probably a heart attack or two across that 50 minutes.
Yeah, just a couple. The wall did. It felt like the wall was changing where it was from lap to lap at the end there, so I had to give it a wide berth. But yeah, happy to keep it on the island.
Yeah, indeed. So starting on the dry track with some puddles around, then the rain coming along, lead changed a bunch of times in that opening stint as well. And I'm sure you're thinking, long race, trying to get towards, your pit stop and execute the strategy.
Yeah, normally in a race like this, my strategy would be box on lap 1, put the power down, free air, try and gap everyone. But having seen the forecast, I thought, there's a fast repair on offer here. There's no point pitting on lap 1, lap 2, then breaking suspension, meatballing myself, and then thinking, oh god, I've got to pit again just to fast repair. So I thought I'll hang on. I'll take the fast repair with me through the race, and then if I need it, I can at least get my tires done and repair at the same time. So that was the strategy this time, which meant having just sitting back and waiting for the rain, basically wait for the pit stops, wait for the rain, and see how things shook out.
Have you ever seen the rain coming down on a sunny day?
In iRacing, yeah, not so much in real life. I think that the trickiest part for me was just what you saw on the track didn't always reflect how it felt in the steering wheel. There were dry bits of track that were wet, and there were wet bits that you could touch. It was changing lap to lap, but it didn't always feel like it correlated with what the steering wheel was telling me. So yeah, didn't spend much time looking up at the sky, but just trying to keep my eye on the track.
So what's your how does it feel to be Ozicar Skip Barber champion?
Well, I mean, it's great. It's great to win any championship, particularly when you've got the caliber of drivers like Adrian and Neil and Cam and Brody, and there's some really quick drivers in here, and so to be able to consistently put in the laps, be consistent, and out qualify and out race them feels good. I mean, I do obviously race this car more regularly than some of the names I've just said, so a little bit of an advantage in that regard. But at the end of the day, I had to make it count, had to make no mistakes, had to miss one round completely. So that was my drop round, which really put the pressure on the other rounds, particularly with the scoring system being the way it is. You can't afford to P20 in one race because that's almost your championship over. So yeah, had to keep it consistent, and so keep it on the track and not get tangled up with anyone else, and just try and combine speed and keeping it out of the walls.
You've raised the bar in Aussie car this season. You're taking the chocolates and probably going to make Ira Felberg have to look at some international shipping of prestige trophy badge and engraving.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how tongue-in-cheek that was. I don't know if there is anything to receive. It's my first Aussie car, not only championship but Aussie car entry. So if there's something coming my way, that's great. But if not, that's fine. I'll be back next season. Sounds like we've got the Skippy coming again in 2026 season 1. So I'll look forward to racing the car again.
I'm not sure what he's promised or what the asterisk terms and conditions are, but we'll speak to him in a minute after you, and we'll we'll see what Ira Felberg's thinking. Congrats and well done on race wins at all sorts of race tracks and conditions on your way to the championship.
Yep, thank you both for doing the broadcast. It's been a pleasure to watch it back, and it's been a pleasure to participate in the league this season.
Adam Miles, the champion, with us there, and Mr. Aussie Car, Ira Felberg, is going to join us now. 19th place, one lap down. This is a car that doesn't really have a wet tyre, so rain makes it difficult.
I knew you were going to start with that. Yeah, I sucked, which was a bit of a shame. But I didn't actually. Oh, I don't know if you saw the first one, but I saved a pretty good one across the top. Got to that point where I was like, when you think like, oh, if I jam on the brakes now, I can probably keep it off the wall. So yeah, I saved one and then tapped the wall. Wasn't hard, but bent the steering. So pitted for a fast repair and then came out and ran straight into the wall again. So you got to laugh, don't you? It was a bit of fun, and pardon me, talking to the drivers in there, the man, iRacing's done such a good job. The way the sort of conditions built up, and you could feel and hear the grit before you could see it, if that made sense. And the way it took like a long time before it actually really got, sort of wet lines. But it was a good challenge. Definitely wasn't undrivable, and the tire, it's actually not that bad because it's a road tire. It does have the grooves. It's not as good as some of the big tires, but it doesn't aquaplane like the Formula Ford. So yeah. Anyway, that's enough about my race.
So then to go back to the Skip Barber after all of the cars that have been in Aussie car competition, it's brought some talent back out of the woodwork. Adam Miles, it's obviously been a sensation this season.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I've sort of, I don't know, it's funny how life goes, isn't it? Like got to 12, 13 seasons and everyone had kind of had enough, and then tried a bunch of other cars, and now everyone's sort of keen for the Skippy again. And probably good time to just announce that I'll be sticking with the Skippy for next season. I don't really see any reason to change, and there's so many good tracks that we haven't really raced in it yet. And it's not obviously the most popular car, but it's got its followers, and I think jumping around cars as well is not always helpful for numbers because you get a few but you lose a few. So I'm probably going to stick with the Skippy for a little while, just because honestly it's such a fun car to drive, it's such a good car to race, and try and sort of build something, and I'm going to talk to Aben about trying to get maybe some more overseas drivers, because I noticed in there tonight, I think it was like 7 or 8 Kiwis, a bunch of Aussies, and I was thinking if we could get some more guys from the UK. I know it's a weird time slot for them, but the Skippy, on looking on officials, it does have its fans with the numbers in the right time slots. It's not amazing like I said, but there's still thousands, 3, 5, 6,000 people, participating. So I was thinking some kind of point score, UK versus Australia versus New Zealand would be pretty cool. But yeah, it's just honestly, it's such a fun car to drive, and we've had our best memories, in the Skippy, and that was one thing I actually wanted to ask you, David, if you don't mind for one last time, if I could ask you a question. What since tonight's the last one, I was going to ask you what would be some of your favourite memories from all the calls that you've done over the years.
Well, we've had some damn close finishes, haven't we? I think I've got a screenshot somewhere of 5 wide in the Formula V across the
Dover.
checkered flag at Phillip Island.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We
I
also
forgot
had that
about
one at Monza
Yep.
too, where it was a dead heat three-way at Monza, which was amazing as
yeah.
well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, see, you guys remember the stuff. I knew you'd remember something good.
I think, yeah, we've had our fair share of very, very close finishes. Did you put on the hill climb?
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. I was going to say your win, Dave. We can't forget that.
No, simply couldn't. Yes. Formula V hill climb champion David Haynes.
That was pretty good, but the way like it was like the splits coming to the top and it was live, and yeah, you got to do it. You get one run, and that was actually a lot of fun. That was pretty cool to watch. One of my best memories for sure.
And I remember so clearly that day I went to KFC for dinner and they forgot to put the chips in my Zinger box, and it kind of I was on a high and they kind of brought me down.
Uh, oh dear.
Do you have any, I guess, words for
Oh,
the
fine.
competitors and parting words or whatever?
Yeah, I thought a lot about this, and probably the less to say are better. But yeah, I just obviously want to thank you guys for all the work that you've put in already. Thank you guys on socials and in the Discord today. And yeah, I don't know really, it's too much I can say. It's just been, I've just been super grateful for, all the work that you guys have put in and being able to even have a show. And, the other thing is it's not over. It's still there on YouTube. You can go back and watch them. Sometimes I do that, I go back and watch. But yeah, no, it's, Ozicar, in some ways, it's just another league, but to steal a quote, sorry.
What's going on, Ira? Oh,
It's just, sorry guys. It's just, when you've done something for such a long time, it's a large emotional investment, and yeah, just want to say thanks. I'll let you guys wrap it up.
thanks, Ira, for your
Thanks,
work
Ira.
putting on Aussie car, many seasons, different cars, Formula Ford, Skip Barber, Vs, F4s, supercars at one point, I think, even, and TCRs. It's been a journey, and we've seen so much great racing. We can barely scratch the surface of the photo finishes, the three wides, the moments, the action that we've had. And that is the end of this season of Aussie Car Formula. Skip Barber from Mount Panorama as Adam Miles takes the race win, and with it, the championship. The season of Aussie Car has been supported by Locked On Lads and Prestige Trophy Badge and Engraving, and in support of the No Social Hate campaign. I've been David Haynes, Jay Kennedy with me, our podium, Adam Miles, Cameron Dance, Adrian Duke. Thank you so much for joining us across this journey.